Hey, what's going on, all you ghouls and ghosts out there? My name is Mike Macabre, and welcome to the graveyard. As always, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, share the video, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more of my reaction videos, Friday Night Frights, Mouthing Off with Mike Macabre, or whatever else I'm doing on this channel. In tonight's episode, we have another reviews and reaction night. Okay, their debut on the channel, a band called Twin Tribes. We're going to be reacting to their official music video called Monolith. Link to original video will be down in the description box for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. And this request comes to us by Peter Stevens. Thank you for that lovely, lovely request. As always, going into this blind with my off-the-cuff comments. If I recognize the song, I'll definitely let everybody know. I'm going to be as transparent as possible. But no more ghouling around. Let's check it out. Alright, ghouls and ghosts. Twin Tribes with their official music video to Monolith. Very dark wave. A lot of symbolism. She's a great dancer. Sultan Mars. Kino Wave. Interesting. There's a lot to be said about this one. I definitely want to look at the lyrics, if it helps me, because I couldn't really understand what they were saying for the most part. But given the imagery involved in this one, I really have to kind of hone in a little bit to get a better idea of this. See you in the review section. All right, ghouls and ghosts. That was Twin Tribes with their official music video to Monolith. Link original video, as always, will be down in the description box for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. And again, this request comes to us by Peter Stevens. Thank you for that lovely, lovely request. All right, pulled up the lyrics. Have not looked at them yet, so let's go over them together. Monolith. Trust in me, I will rise through the fire in the sky. Set me free, ancient lies. Is this peace divine? The light will cast me aside. Me and Venena. T and Venena. Trust in me as I am. Shattering inside. The vision upon us. The memory remains. Nothing to defy. The light will cast me aside. Bring me to silence, a right for the heart. Bring me to silence, through the light. Me and Venena, hey and Venena. No, I'm not familiar with a lot of Spanish, so I don't. Me and Tay. Me is for me. Maybe me and my envy, and Tay is your envy. I don't know. I suppose I could look it up, but I'm just gonna go with what I got. Very symbolic lyrics to go with a very symbolic music video. I was trying to fit the lyrics with the visuals, and I don't know how one for one. It's a little bit more abstract to me, but definitely the part about the light and the dark of humanity. As far as the monolith, the first thing I was thinking about when I saw the monolith was space. Oh, come on. Hold on, I know it's by Stanley Kubrick. Monolith movie. No, not the movie. Stanley Kubrick. Space Odyssey, is it? Yeah, Space Odyssey. I'm sorry, I don't know how I don't remember that, but I'm sorry I don't. Stanley Kubrick is one of my favorite directors of all time, so the fact I couldn't remember Space Odyssey. Old brainworms in here, but yeah. The opening scene in the movie where there's a bunch of gorillas or monkeys in her, and they toss the bone in the air, and boom, boom. It's one of those weird movies, but very symbolic nonetheless. I think. Well, before we get into all that, let's get into the music. Love the vocals. I love the dissonant, just monotone, dreary kind of like dystopian, which is very infectious to me. A very dark wave, as I said. I was not expecting a 1980s dark wave sound in the newer age, because I could tell just by the how good the quality was. So it's probably within the last 10-15 years, give or take. So yeah, definitely not set in the 80s, but I really enjoyed the nostalgia of it. I do like this kind of dark wave, very meaningful, especially set with those visuals. The juxtaposition of his monotonous lower register vocals, and then they have the higher pitched juxtaposition of the music, I thought fit very well. I did notice, now that we're going into a little bit of the visuals, that the happy visuals were like overly saturated. They were kind of dull, and like I said, it's overly saturated, and it had this aura about it where it wasn't quite real, probably surreal, perhaps. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if you agree on that surrealism. and the it was almost blinding in a way, especially with the light, and obviously the two sides of the same person going towards a monolith, one with white light, and the other with the darkness or the evil. I like the representation of evil. It always starts and it sticks to you like invisible swords, and you can't quite get away from it, and it just grows and it grows and it feeds on you, and you just can't escape it. And then all of a sudden you're in this muck of emotion, this evil, the sadness, whatever it may be, the negativity of it is just, it's all over your body. You try to get rid of it, it goes on the wall. There's always a reminder of it. There's it's just it hits home for me, and it was very meaningful. I got choked up towards the end when I started to figure out, just by there's just a visual aspect of trying to get away from it, and everybody has that sort of evil or that angry or that depression, those negative thoughts, whatever it may be. It comes down to positive and negative. It's just a constant flux of the two, and you have to kind of manage that. And even with the vocalist and the other guy, who I don't know, with the mustache, I assume probably the instrumentalist, I don't know, but they also started getting the black eyes, and then the dripping of the black blood, or the black ooze, if you will. So I guess in the context of this music video, the monolith is positive and negative, just that yin and yang of the whole thing, the human experience, the human existence. You touch that evil and it sticks with you. You touch that light, and only because of that light can you go back to evil, and only because of that evil you can go back to light. So there's that duality there too. Uh, Very poetic, very artistic stuff, very great stuff. I really enjoyed that. Her dancing skills, her theatricality, her fluid motions, and not just in the light, but also in that darkness. There's a beauty to everything, because even with the darkness, it was just a canvas for drab. It was just browns, whites, grays, blacks. Whereas, like I said, with the light, it was more of obviously saturated, but it had more color to it. It had oranges, reds. There's a couple others I can't. Obviously, just a brighter spectrum of color, we'll just say. Oh, and I was not expecting those kind of lyrics. Very fitting, but I don't quite know how exactly it fits into the song. So if anybody has their interpretation of the lyrics, please let me know in the comments section. The 6 feet under, I would greatly appreciate it. That being said, score. Taking everything into account, I am going to give this 5 skulls out of 5. Absolutely happy with that score for all the reasons I just stated. And I think it comes down to just the complete package. As far as I do enjoy dark wave. It's not something like I would normally seek out, but in this instance where it's new, but it has that nostalgia feel, and the fact of it, how it hit me in a very visceral way, is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And it was a perfect. There was several bands that I could think of. Like, the guy reminded me of The Cure with Robert Smith. I'm reminded of the Birthday Massacre from Canada. They do not necessarily dark wave, but like dark electro, and with like some popish elements, and from stuff from the 1980s, like dark wave and other kind of wave music, cold wave for that matter. And given my proclivity to reacting to a lot of these dark wave, cold wave bands from the 80s and into the present, this gave me a little bit more of an appreciation for it, I should say. I do enjoy cold and dark wave now, absolutely, because my exposure to cold and dark wave was, I'm sure I've heard of Cure songs before, but not like explicitly knowing it was the Cure. But my only exposure would be I ran so far away. Flock of Seagulls, anybody? And that's pretty much about the extent of it. I'm sure I've heard more. I just, it's more like noise, and I don't know like what band or what song, so it's, you know, it's a mixed bag, basically. But yeah, that's the reason why I gave it the score. But I think that's going to be it for this episode of reviews and reactions. As always, if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, comment, share the video, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more of my reaction videos, Friday Night Frights, Mouthing Up with Mike Macabre, or whatever else I'm doing on this channel. Always cool. Stay scared.